Hi, let's change a PTU. This is on an MKX Lincoln. Same procedure as a Ford Edge. Inspect the new unit for damage. Make sure the compression seal is there and in good shape. Raise the vehicle on a lift or install jack stands, however you're going to do that. Remove the right front wheel. Spray penetrating oil on the splines for the axle. Spray penetrating oil on the threads for the strut to knuckle bolts and nuts. And you may want to put some on the bolt for the brake hose also. Spray penetrating oil. All right, we're underneath the vehicle. This is the Y pipe. Okay, spray penetrating oil on this and this. This is for the front cat, for the Y pipe, spray oil there. And also spray penetrating oil on this flange to the rear cat. Once again, this is for the Y pipe. Next, locate the 4 nuts, fastening the rear catalytic converter to the manifold, and spray those as well. For the rear catalytic converter, you will be removing it, so locate the oxygen sensor. Follow the harness back and disconnect the oxygen sensor. Use an impact. Remove the axle nut. It's a 36 millimeter. Remove the 10 millimeter bolt for the brake hose. Remove the retainer for the wheel speed sensor harness and follow it down. And there's an 8 millimeter holding the sensor to the knuckle. Remove that bolt. And that's going to give us slack. Remove the strut nuts and bolts to the knuckle. 24 millimeter. Take an air hammer with a point bit. Push the bolts out once the nuts are off. And then push the axle through. Once the bolts are out, then you'll be able to move the knuckle out of the way and give room to push the axle all the way through. Alright, position the axle aside, prepare it for removal. There are 13 millimeter bolts holding the axle intermediate support to the engine bracket. Get a long extension with a swivel 13 and remove those 2 bolts. This is what I used. Tight area. With those 2 bolts out, you should be able to slide the axle out. Yeah, it's coming straight out now. I'm going to need both hands, but you get it. Just route the axle out. When I remove the axle, I slid it in between the hose and the knuckle right here. Hold it out like that. Raise the vehicle up. Remove the flange nuts for the Y pipe. I had to use a 1/2 inch impact with a 15 millimeter to get the nuts off. I had one round off right here. I have a 9/16 extractor socket for rounded hardware, which I'm going to hammer on here and hopefully get the nut off. Alright, that worked. If that doesn't work for you, you can cut the nut off, hammer the stud through, and put a nut and a bolt through when you reinstall. Drop that out of the way. Remove this shield if you have it, 210 millimeters. Here you can see the carnage. The case is cracked wide open in the PTU. Okay, go ahead and remove your dog bone, your roll restrictor, lower mount, whatever you want to call it. Get those 2 bolts off. If your transmission starts dripping out of the PTU here, just go ahead and drain your transmission. Go buy yourself 5 quarts of new transmission fluid. Depending on the year model, it'll either be Mercon 5 or Mercon LV. In the meantime, go ahead and remove these 15 millimeter bolts holding the roll restrictor bracket to the transmission. Get a swivel with a 15 for a 1/2 inch impact. These are going to be a little tight and tricky coming out. Just be patient with it. Whoa. Okay, next you're going to want to come back, remove this bar so that you can drop the drive shaft down. It's 2 15 millimeters, 1 on each side. Next, go ahead and remove the 4 13 millimeter bolts holding the drive shaft to the PTU. And then you'll be able to knock it off the PTU and let it drop down out of the way. Alright. If you're having trouble reaching some of the bolts, put the car in neutral and rotate the shaft by hand, then you can get to them. Remove the 4 fasteners holding the catalytic converter to the exhaust manifold. There's one of the nuts up there. They're on each corner of the cat. Okay, with the 4 bolts removed, or nuts removed, the cat will come right out. Go ahead and remove your gasket right here and install the new one. Alright, with the cat out of the way, go ahead and remove your axle bracket right here. It's also a reinforcement for the PTU, but it's held on with 13 millimeter fasteners. Okay, with that out of the way, go ahead and remove the mounting bolts for the PTU. There's 5 of them, 2 right here, 1 on top, down this valley. You'll feel it. Right here, just go straight down. And on the other side, right here, on the side, 1, 2. Don't worry, you'll see it. If there's any question about where they're located, go to your new PTU. And there's the 2 on the bottom. One right there. 2 right here. You will likely need a 15 millimeter ratcheting wrench to get these 2 back ones off. Okay, be patient with those 2 rear ones on the other side. That's kind of a... Anyway, so with those mounting bolts out of the way, you can wrestle this thing out of here. I like to take my left hand and hold on to the flange on the PTU. Just give it some support while I'm pulling it out. You take the palm of your right hand and just beat on it while you jiggle it out. take a ratchet strap and use it to pull the transmission forward, or get a helper. Yeah, I'm gonna get a helper. Yeah, that came out in seconds when I had a helper pulling the transmission forward while I was holding it or pulling it out. Installation is the reverse of removal. It's very straightforward if you're able to get it out. It's literally just the same thing in reverse. The only thing you might question would be the level. So this is the check plug for the PTU. It holds 75/140, about half a quart. And they do come pre-filled from Ford, so you shouldn't have to worry about that, but that's how you check that. Thank you for watching. I hope this helps. Please leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this. I appreciate that. You have a good day.